What is up, Watch fam? I am Christian from Theo and Harris. This always takes a couple of seconds to really get rolling here before we really get into our swing of the actual live stream, because I actually do this myself. Even though you totally think that I wouldn't be. Let's go to my videos. If you're watching this, after the fact, feel free to skip to a couple of maybe a minute or so in. Let's see, video manager. It's amazing. Wait, am I streaming? Okay, yes, we are live. Okay, shit. Okay, boom. Live control room. Oh, guys, I am so confused by this always. Now how do I see your comments? Fuck. I just can't figure this out. I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. Oh, here we go. Now we got it. Boom! We did it. Holy shit. God, this is always the hardest. This is just always so difficult. But now I think I know it for next week. Okay, so now we're going to go live on Instagram, and then we get into today's episode. Thank you guys for being so accommodating. This means a lot. Obviously, I'm obviously need to start earlier. It's 1 a.m. in Portugal. Yes, but California just got out of work. So that's it. Now we are live on Instagram and on YouTube. Welcome to Ask TNH. I am Christian from Theo and Harris. Yep. This guy's a lot of comments. Okay, I am wearing, quick wristwatch check. I am wearing my personal vintage Omega Seamaster. My parents got me this watch for my 21st birthday. Here it is. I'm actually going to tell you guys the story of this watch. This Instagram, boom. What's up, Instagram? Thank you for chiming in. So the story of this watch is pretty cool. My grandfather had this watch. Has this watch, one that's basically identical to this Seamaster, same reference. He got it in the 1950s from his uncle. It was a gift. My grandfather's not a watch guy. My grandfather doesn't like really anything that's luxury. So he doesn't really care for it all too much. But I remember that watch in my childhood an awful lot, so it meant a lot to me. Growing up, it meant a lot, and becoming a watch fan, becoming a real geek, and then becoming the owner of this company, that watch really meant a lot. But it's not my watch; it's his watch, and he'll give it to his son, which is right. So my mom and my dad, my mom especially, knew how much this watch meant to me. So for my birthday, my 21st, she actually bought one from theoharris.com, which I didn't realize it was her. It was a whole big thing. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, shit. Oh my god, this is awful. Guys, I am so sorry. I just was doing Instagram live from Anna's thing. Hold on. I'm doing this again. Okay, ready? All right. Back into my story. This was the watch that my 21st birthday she surprised me with. I'm the one that found this watch, but she bought it from someone else. It was a whole big trick. It was a whole big trick on me. But this is one of the coolest watches I've ever owned, and this is the watch that is very emotional to me in my life. So I really couldn't be more grateful, but to have this watch. So once again, for those who are joining on Instagram right now, I'm wearing my Omega Seamaster. So yes, and I was on Anna's account before. Okay, so let's get rolling with the questions. I'd love to answer some of your questions and get into some of the things I want to talk about. So let's do it. All right. Sales reports came out today from Switzerland. Hodinkee published them. It is a bumper. It is a bumper movement. So Hodinkee published them. Usually, really, most people don't publish them because they're very bad reports. Swiss watch exports and sales. Why I always throwing shit? I'll get there in a second. Swiss watch exports and sales, announced a 10% decline, I believe, in some international markets like China. There was an uptick, I think that was the word they used, of 10%. So that's pretty, it's pretty good. But the top two markets, United States of America and Hong Kong, are still down. So I'm going to talk about this for a second. I'm talking about my thoughts on this, this decline in Swiss watch exports, and here's my opinion. I should start by saying I have no idea how this works. Truthfully. I bet that there are, I mean, hundreds and whatever of regulations that may be unjust, that are having an impact on Swiss watch exports, that are not just about sales. I get that. They're making it very hard for companies or whatever it may be. I really don't know. So let me preface by saying I'm sure there are hundreds of variables that I have no idea what they are and how they're affecting companies. So let's just preface there, so I don't get a bunch of assholes in the comments that are saying, fuck you. So let's preface by saying I know very little. Now, what I do know is how poorly, watch brands on a much more micro level sell watches. I mean, it's really embarrassing. It's really, really embarrassing. Coffee, and then I'll get into it. Micro example. This guy again, Micro. What's up, Farley's? Micro example. Longines had a wonderful showing at Baselworld. No question. They did a really, really great job. They released a Calatrava, which is actually like a copy of Ben Clymer, the founder of Hodinkie's watch. And it was amazing. His watch is gorgeous, and the watch they made was great. And I saw it on his account, and then I saw it on another account, and it was popping up a little bit, but then I went to Longine's Instagram and couldn't find it, and I was just baffled by the fact that a company that's worth probably hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least it's a subsidiary company of a parent company that's worth billions of dollars, doesn't understand, the importance of like social media. Once again, this doesn't boil down all the social media. I don't claim it to. I don't claim that it does. But holy shit, it's a huge aspect. This is where people are buying. People are buying, I mean, in the droves online, and not just buying, but they're being sold online. So maybe they're not just buying, but they're being sold emotionally and everything. That's where they're getting their exposure to these new releases. And the fact that I couldn't find a watch in the Longines Instagram itself is embarrassing. I mean, that's just, to me, it's just amazing. And that was just a micro example. I think Rolex is doing and has done a wonderful job. Is doing a pretty good job and has done a wonderful job in a couple of very specific examples. And I want to talk about that for a second. I've recommended you guys watch this video once. This is wine. That is coffee. This is wine. So I've recommended you guys watch this video a couple of times. Just Google Rolex James Cameron. And it's a video that he recently did. And it was absolutely wonderful. It was a video about the importance of his Rolex, and really how it was one of the most important physical items in the world that he has. And to hear James Cameron talk about it, and so poetically, was really impactful. So I thought that was amazing. Rolex was selling not just a watch. Actually, the watch wasn't even shown up close. The Rolex was selling the emotion and the connection behind their Rolex. And that's what was so important. I have talked about that before, in many different contexts. It doesn't change. They're selling much more than a piece of, an item. At the end of the day, people who are buying watches know very little about watches. Just how it is. Most of the people in the world don't know much about watches, and they shouldn't. I'm not claiming that they should. But if you're asking for someone's, $5,000, okay, and they're really not going to take too much time to actually learn what they're spending it on, they're still spending it on something. So then what is it? It's emotion. It's status. It's these things. So if we don't sell that and play on that, that's it. It's over. So now in a world where everyone understands, okay, it's status foremost, everyone's competing on a status level, and it just doesn't work, really. It just doesn't work. If you have 18 different guys playing for status, it's a disaster. It's too loud. It's too noisy. But now, if you have one company that says, you know what, screw status, I'm going to go on the emotion offense, you'd kill it. I mean, you would absolutely kill it. So that's my little thing. I don't think that social media would change his Swiss watch exports totally. I don't think that it would change, the dying company the dying industry that it might be or not be. But there's still, at a micro level, there's a lot to do with it, and it's really, really embarrassing. Maybe I would stop talking about it once they start doing it, and the watch exports are still failing, but it's not. They're not doing it yet. So let's look at Instagram questions real quick, then I'll go over to YouTube. More mug wine, Christian? Yes, I have mug and coffee. Okay. Somebody asked about the Buckley dial. I actually have answered this in every Ask TNH Live, and I'll answer it again. The Buckley dial was named after John Buckley, a watch dealer in Manhattan. He does wholesale work exclusively. He's a great guy. He's a great friend of mine, and it was named after him. I think he named it after himself, and it caught on. Crazy enough. But no, all Roman numerals are not called Buckley. Just the old quick and non-quick, but with paint, not with the applied. So that's it. Okay, let's look at progressive. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Why do people hate the James Cameron? I'm not sure. What's the logic behind the new Yachtmaster? That's actually something I wanted to talk about today. Okay, so someone just asked, what's the logic, in my opinion, behind the new Yachtmaster? And I'll show you that at the watches after. And I have no idea. But here's my opinion. Rolex has positioned themselves in kind of this way where their steel watches don't even nearly compete with AP Royal Oak and Patek Nautilus, and their gold watches are obviously more money. So they're really not hitting that sweet spot of $20,000 to $25,000 or $19,000 to $25,000. They're not touching it. Coffee break. And apparently, at least as we see on Instagram and through other mediums, that price range is very attractive to a lot of people now. It's a lot of money, so you can brag, but it's not too much money where it's totally unattainable. And I think that this whole idea of having a $25,000 sports watch is much more, I think, desirable right now than it is to have a day date. So see what I'm trying to say? I mean, the day date shows very ostentatious money. It spent 35 grand on a watch. Here I am. Whereas the AP or the Royal Oak or the Nautilus say, I got 25 grand to buy a watch that I kind of just knock around with. And I think that's a really, really interesting kind of, narrative there. So Rolex is trying to tap into that with the Sky Dweller in steel, priced at I think 15 and then 18,000. They're trying to undercut the companies with a complication, not without a complication. Those two watches don't have complications. So the Sky Dweller with the GMT and the annual calendar has that. So I think it's very interesting that they're doing this. Do I think it'll win? I don't know. I think it's too big. I don't love the watch. I don't love the watch, but we'll see what happens. Jason Jordan emailed you looking for 19mm end links. Hey buddy, I didn't see your email yet, but I haven't looked back in my emails from last night. So if you sent it then, I'm sorry, but I will look. I will look for it. I promise. But I know I don't have end links to sell. I'm sorry. Christian, if you had a white gold Sky Dweller, would you be pissed about the steel release? If I had a white gold Sky Dweller, I would be furious. I'd be furious if it was my understanding, because of sales associates, that they would not release a steel version. That's bullshit. That's deception. You do that in any other field and you go to jail, Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad. I'm sorry about the Sky Dweller Yachtmaster mix-up. But I just went on a different tangent. What should watch industry be doing to appeal to young people and establish a firm market for watches in the future? In my opinion, okay, so what should watch companies be doing right now to establish relationships, long-lasting, lifetime relationships with young consumers? In my opinion, no one has a better position here than like Nomos. Nomos is the perfect position. Their price point is wonderful. They're everything about them at the moment, from price point to finishing and value and the fact that all bloggers can stand behind them, sets them up perfectly. Now, why do I think it's so perfect? Not because of the margin they're going to make on an Orion. That doesn't matter. They could throw away that money. They don't care about that. But in my opinion, if you are the first watch that somebody has, if you are the first meaningful piece, the first $3,000 watch somebody buys, you now have their attention for the rest of their lives. You can choose to lose it, or you can choose to capitalize on it and make them a lifelong customer. That's your call. But that to me is amazing. So for companies right now to appeal to younger crowds and to sell to them and to make watches worth something, I think that, and once again, this is totally off the cuff. I have not rehearsed this, so I have no idea what I'm about to say. I think a couple things. One, they should be speaking and communicating narrative in a way that makes it beyond material, without a doubt. Material is important. Everyone that's going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, wants material, something that's good, no question. But that's not enough. We are, at this point in my generation, we are so desensitized to bad narrative because everyone has good narrative now, that if you don't have that, you're done. Even if you have a decent narrative, you're still fucked. There are people that are shilling garbage out there with good narrative, and that's it. I mean, look at this. Look at the movement, the MVMT. Look at this not Jules Johnson. This Larson and Jennings. I mean, these are garbage companies that are shilling shit, which is I have no problem with. I would be a shareholder if I could. No question there, and most of you would as well. But they're shilling shit with narrative. and marketing. So if there are a bunch of bad companies that are selling a bunch of shit with you know, if you could sell a bad product with a bunch of marketing, imagine what you could do with a good product. And that's kind of my opinion. So so not only do I think that they need to, you know, be developing better narrative, but they need to make price points more affordable. And capitalize on that attention when they're young. Nobody has more of an emotional connection to anything watch related than their first watch. If it's a good, you know, thing, then that's it. You're in. So you know, for me, Rolex, vintage Rolex will always hold a place in my heart because it was my first watch, and that was the watch that I grew deeply in love with watches because of. So that's why. Hey buddy, my internet kicked out. Did you respond to the visitor watch question? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. What's up, brother? Gentilogio. Daniel Wellington. Exactly. Shit. Let's see. Snap. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just checking out the. What do you think about Kara from Hodinkee? I don't know Kara. I've messaged her a couple times back and forth, and she seems like a wonderful person. I think that she's a good writer. You know, nothing. How do you feel about the new Sea Dweller release? I thought one thing I could talk about with the whole Sea Dweller thing, and I can't confirm this. I didn't look it up. I read it. I read it on a forum. Apparently, Rolex didn't release the Cyclops on the Sea Dweller because the technology wasn't there. Because apparently the Cyclops at a certain depth would pop off, and that's really interesting because now they've been, you know, now they're only known for their with a lack of Cyclops. So I think it's funny that people are annoyed that this new watch has a Cyclops when really that's just evolution and better technology. I think that if that was more clear, people would be more accepting, because right now it makes it seem as if Rolex wants to make a bigger, you know, more expensive Submariner. But if the case really is, hey guys, they were always similar watches, the one kind of defining difference aesthetically was the Cyclops, but that was only because we couldn't have one before, but now technology allows it, we're in, that would have sold the watch to me a lot better. So that's why so much anger towards Hodinkee. Some of their videos are the best. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Hodinkee watch videos made me fall in love with watches. Yeah, I mean, the John Mayer talking watches, the Goldberger talking watches, the visit to Bernardini Luxury Vintage. These are some of my absolute favorite videos. You know, no question. I love it. I don't like what Hodinkee does now too much. That doesn't mean it's bad. It makes it that I don't like it. You know, it doesn't make it empirically bad. I mean, they make a lot more money than I do. And if I could, you know, if I had to give up my company for theirs, although it would be emotionally a disaster, I could pursue my passion next year. You know, it would make sense. Hold on, just kidding. Sorry guys, 1 second. One second. This is a really important message, otherwise I wouldn't answer this. So sorry about that. It was just a message that it was always it was a watch thing. So so that was, I know it's how dare you keep us waiting for your words. Yeah, I'm buying new watches, and right now, since I'm dealing on way different time what are they called? Time zones. I'm dealing with different time zones, so it's hard. And when it's a watch thing, I just can't ignore it. Sorry about that. I would assume they're busy. Swiss. Okay, yeah. Okay, sounds good. What else we got here? Is Jean-Claude Beaver going to turn Zenith into a new Hublot? I don't know. I don't know. I think that Jean-Claude... Christian texting us, I don't know. No, I think that Jean-Claude Beaver should turn, you know, Zenith into the most profitable Zenith there could be. You know, that's it. That's what I think. I think that he's a very astute business person. What does the Buckley dial have? Yeah. So on vintage Rolex Buckley dials, Romans, you have, what is it? You have four. Like, the number 4 is 3 lines as opposed to, I guess, a line before a V, and they do that for balance purposes, I believe. You know, you're going to be bigger, if not bigger than Hodinkee, but definitely way better. Yeah, who knows, man? I really, you know, that's amazing. You know, I definitely, you know, I aspire to have their reach, no question. Agree, disagree. High-end fashion brands like Hermes and Chanel and Bulgari are more playfully innovating with watch aesthetics. Oh, no question. No question at all. I definitely, you know, I definitely agree. You know, the brands like Chanel's Jump Hour was an amazingly daring watch that I respected a ton. Would I buy one? No, but it was amazing. But they have that room. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Everyone has a room. Everyone can do whatever they want. Wide boy, Linen Dial, Buckley. Pick one. Damn, I will not pick one. Sorry about that. Thoughts on the Tudor Pelagos Destro for a non-left-handed person? I think it's cool. I think that it's a cool thing, no question. I encourage the I encourage people to buy it. I don't mind faux patina at all. I'm actually a big faux patina fan, but I just don't think that there should be mayhem about it. I don't think that people should run around with their heads chopped off because this exists. To me, it's not interesting enough. It's not interesting enough to make your whole life into an array to say, oh my God, can you believe Tudor released this thing? Like, chill the fuck out. Like, it's a watch. Like, not only is it a watch, it's a watch they already had. They put some patina, they put Pelagos around, they put it on left. Like, that's the kind of thing that they could have been having a drink at a bar. Like, let's just make it in red and flip it. Let's do it? All right, let's do it. And an innovation like that, although is cool, and I totally respect you buying it, like, let's leave it at that. Like let's keep it what it is. And that's what I hate about so much of watch journalism. That was my problem with the whole coverage of the Omega Speedmaster, Seamaster, and Railmaster reissues. Great watches. Just don't pretend like they're anything like so crazy. Like, it was easy for Omega to do, I believe. That wasn't hard. It was a movement they already had. It was, watches they had the exact specifications of. They just made it. And I respect that they made it, and I admire it, and I would buy it in a second, but come on, like, let's get real. Let's see what else. Christian's impressions. Yeah, I do have some sick impressions, right? I'm an impressionist. That's not the same thing. Opinion on vintage H. Moser under 1,000. I've seen some amazing H. Moser under 1,000. I've seen some amazing H. Moser under under $2,000. Really some terrific stuff. Are all of them as good? No, I've seen some kind of shitters too. But no, Archie Luxury, it's funny. But no, it's tough to say. I'd have to look at a watch specifically. Hey Christian, do you ever check your Facebook Messenger? Yeah, hey buddy, I'm sorry, I really don't check that all too often. We get so many messages, and I really do email much better. But I'll check it out. Promise, I'll check it out. Who do you think is putting out great horology content on social media besides yourself? Great question. You know what? I don't know. Fuck. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. The truth is, I produce way more content than I consume. It's totally disproportionate. So it's very hard for me to say that. It really, it really is. So I don't really, fuck. I don't know. Let me think about it. I think Tudor does a pretty good job. I think Rolex is doing a pretty good job. But it's hard. It's hard. Yes, I am in my process of making my sister brand, Cleo and Ferris. You do produce a lot. Yeah, we do produce. We produce one video a day, 5 days a week. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of videos, no question. And we're always trying to innovate and bring more and more. I mean, if you didn't see Wednesday's video, which is our first lug to lug, one of the best videos we've ever made. One of the best videos. I loved it. I thought it was one of the most amazing pieces of watch content put out in a while. It was short, like 3 minutes. It was just right to the point. It was poetic. It was really cool. But it's every day's a battle. It's hit and miss and hit and miss and hit and miss. And you just try to, I try to make my net week a plus. Some days we're +4, some days we're +1, and we're only +1 because we had a +6 and a -5. So it just happens that way. And people, not to get too crazy, people who haven't, tried to build a business, I feel have a much harder time understanding naturally, as I wouldn't understand their life. I'm sure. I just wouldn't, I just wouldn't understand their life, as the same thing that, the inverse. So, It's very hard to just execute your vision. It doesn't happen like that. Plus, we're not professional. I mean, we are professional. We're paid for it, but we're not veterans of like content creation industry. I mean, we're brand new. I've been doing this for a year, so it's very tough, and which is great. And I love the challenge, but sometimes people don't understand that net pluses aren't just straight up. They go like that and they rise, so that's how I feel. What's your ideal watch strap? I have an ideal watch strap coming up. We've got some crazy serious stuff coming up. I'm not going to give too much away, but if you're looking for a handmade strap, I mean some serious craftsmanship, in probably one of the most desirable designs there is out there, wait for us, because actually we're making two. Just wait. I'm sorry, guys. One more watch message. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. What do you think about the Breitling Super Ocean Heritage? I like it. I like them a lot. I've recommend. I told my uncle to buy one. He has one. You know, I think that they're great. You know, great watches. TGV's not a real person. Yes, he is. TGV's a weirdo. No, he's not. TGV's a great guy. I know TGV personally. So I think I have a much different relationship with him than many of the viewers do. Only because I know him as just a guy who I can have a drink with. And I'll tell you, he's one of the most just terrific, fiercely loyal, probably to a fault. You know, just because that's the world we live in. But he's a wonderful, wonderful guy. If you have any questions about that, I mean, you know, I'll just tell. I just disagree with you. I just disagree. You know, I just disagree. Ask TNH, answer emails. Also, no design infringement with those T-shirts. Yeah, actually, no design infringements. No, we got a design infringement letter like a year and a half ago for something else, but it wasn't these sweatshirts. So we've been pretty good. Let's see the next line. Okay, ready? Who wants to see the watch the shop lineup? Boom, boom, boom. Start off with one Rolex, reference 1601, with a silver dial that has turned to almost a rosé with a little bit of like patina. This watch is crazy. It's got alpha hands and matching dial, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Check that out. I know that it's not too easy to kind of see and get a real look at online, but this watch is crazy. The custard patina inside these hands is to die for. This is one of the coolest 1601s I've probably ever owned, and I couldn't be happier to offer it. We're bringing heat this week, by the way, guys. Tudor Prince Oyster Date with a linen dial. How do I show this to you guys? There you go, with a linen dial and beautiful custard hands. Really stunning watch. Oyster bracelet, complete. Don't you love that sound? I just love that sound. It's a lovely way of sound a watch makes with the rotor and the bracelet. I think it's amazing. Beautiful watch. This will be listed also this week. I think that 34 millimeters is way underrated, but that's just my personal opinion. I think that 34 millimeters fits on most people's wrists extremely well. They're just afraid to wear it, which is a shame. All right. Omega Automatic Genève with a gold tone case, beautiful custard patina on the hands, on the dagger hands, and a mint sunburst dial. This is a watch that obviously you guys know is a favorite of mine. You know, I have a very serious passion for Omega, and that's just a minty example. So there's really nothing not to love. Now we go to Patek Philippe. Actually, the first Patek, I don't care, we've ever listed or sold. A beautiful watch, yellow gold. Guys, I've typed out this reference 10 times today. I just can't remember it because I'm dyslexic, so it's very difficult. So check that out. I believe it's a 35-37, but it also could be 37-35. I really, once again, don't remember. But this is an amazing watch. I'm gonna show you this on my wrist. This is a ridiculous watch. We actually just got it in. And I mean, it's perfect serviced. I mean, these to me, vintage Patek or Patek is amazing in quality and obviously very desirable. But the problem is that they are so old manny and kind of like dressy. So you know, to me, I love them, but I understand why the appeal isn't there. If that watch had a white dial, I probably wouldn't have bought it. You know, or I wouldn't have to consignment. I wouldn't have consigned it. So that's just the truth. But because it is a blue, this striking mint blue, it was a layup. It was an obvious layup for me to list. This is another beautiful watch, Zenith with 12.3 and no 6, just a subdial and 9, but a huge subdial. When I saw this watch, it was another one that I knew I had to have. These represent incredible value. I can't wait to send you guys a wrist shot on Instagram of this because this thing takes incredible photos. And now, last but certainly not least, an Omega Seamaster with a crosshair dial, Dauphine hands, and a crazy black but with like white speckled galaxy patina. This is another one. I mean, this is a watch. Look at that. I mean, this is a watch that I've basically been trying to get for, I don't know, a year. One in this like true condition, everything from crystal original, and I just think I'm gonna take off my watch now. First of all, that's what I'm looking like today. Looking awesome, and I'm gonna show you guys what what we've got. Really handsome piece. I mean, you just don't see them like that. This dial is incredibly handsome, and the condition is great. Of course, it has patina, but the patina almost looks intentional because of the evenness and everything. It's just totally beautiful. So this is the Tudor, which, I mean, look at the way it looks on my wrist. I mean, tell me that looks small. And my wrist is small, but it's not that small. We're talking about you know, almost a 7-inch wrist. So it's, you know, it's small, but it's not crazy. And I think that the way it looks is just completely handsome. And frankly, I mean, just without, like, it doesn't, to me, nothing about that watch says, oh, like, it's a small dress watch. You know, especially with the bracelet. This is the Patek, which is, I mean, just look at the way that thing looks on the wrist. I've just probably never owned something with such taste and class. I mean, look at that. I mean, just fuck, right? I'm showing Instagram and YouTube. Beautiful, beautiful piece. And I love the way the blue looks with the yellow gold. So I'm extremely lucky to be able to share that watch, seriously. And this is the Datejust 1601. Obviously, you guys know this is one of my favorite watches of all time. If you just take a look, I mean, just look at the way it fits. You know, 36 millimeters. I don't think the 34 is small, but the 36 just has definitely more presence. You know, and even on the strap, it has great presence. So I love it. The Patek is priced at $4,600. So if you're interested, please let me know. And that's it. I'd love to hook you up or answer any questions you might have. It comes with a 1-year warranty, of course. Once again, $4,600. And that's it. It's going to be listed higher on the website because of PayPal fees and things like that. But as always, it's my pleasure to knock off some bucks if we're doing, you know, through Wire or through PayPal, Direct or anything like that. So that's it. What else should we talk about? I was super impressed with Bell & Ross. I know that a lot of you guys hated that. It's a 2-hander, not a 3. I thought they did a great job, Bell & Ross. They released their vintage line, or their, you know, or it's an update to their vintage line, and I thought that I thought it's awesome. I'm gonna show you guys a photo of it right now. I think their chronograph is great. It's 100% inspired by or stolen from the Rolex Daytona. But frankly, I liked it. No, Patek is mechanical. It's a little bit different than the Daytona, without question. But I think that it's different enough, and the price at $4,100 is just phenomenal. I think that first of all, let's kind of rein it in. It's 41 millimeters. The price is $4,100. The matte black dial is great. I love the execution of the date window. I think it's wonderful. Bell & Ross is a borderline fashion brand. No, it's not. It's really not. I mean, you know, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't care what it is. I really don't care. What I care about is that Bell & Ross, not at 41, but on secondhand market, is going to represent very serious value. Why? It's an ETA movement or an ETA movement, whatever you want to call it, and the design is next to none. I mean, in my opinion, the design is phenomenal. So if you can get this watch at $2,800 in the future, or even less, frankly, how do you beat that? I mean, frankly, on the vintage market, $2,800, you know, oftentimes if you're gonna play in like the rare game, gets you like a shitty chronograph. You know, I think that oftentimes the $1,000 to $1,800 range brings way more value than the $2,224. So, you know, that just happens. Let's see what a watch me said. Yeah, no, I don't agree. I'm sorry, guys. AP 5400 or Rolex Hulk. Hard. They're very different in price, aren't they? Christian, would you prefer a rainbow Yachtmaster or Tim Mosso from What You Want to describe your haircut? 34 millimeters. That's funny. That's fine. I don't follow What You Want, so I don't get the reference. I'm sorry. What watch brand do you think has the best Instagram? I think that Breitling are killing it in some brands. Shake Note, yeah, Longines is shit. But any day dates coming soon? Yes, always. Day dates are always on the way. Day dates and day dress are always on the way. Sometimes you got to go back to and actually move forward. And I don't mean going back to reminisce or chase ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You gotta move back to go forward. But yeah, for sure. Christian. What else should we talk about? I was thinking today about my favorite Rolex reference and how I wish that it was, remade. And I do think that it represents great value. One of my favorite watches of all time is the Rolex reference 6062. It's a moon phase. It's a triple calendar, and it's just one of the most beautiful watches, in my opinion, of all time ever made. I don't necessarily think that you need to go with the black dial with the diamond indices coming to Phillips auction. It's going to sell for God knows how much money. But at 400 grand, which these watches are kind of traded at, this watch is just, one of the most stunning watches. So what I was thinking about today is how that would be relevant today. How would they do it? So I love the Cellini. I think the Cellini is a great watch. Seriously, I think that the Cellini represents probably one of the most serious steps of Rolex saying we're going to go no hedge on this line, or we're going to actually move forward with the whole dress line and not kill it. But I do wish that there was a middle line that there's not. I wish that Rolex added, although it's really hard to explain, right? Because they do have the Sky Dweller, which is a complication, but they did it in such a bombastic, large, sporty way. I wish that Rolex had a 36mm date just with a triple calendar. That's kind of how I need to kind of say that. It's stolen from Ben. So that's what I think. The Rolex reference 6062, which I'll show you right now. I have a photo of it. I was thinking about this today. Here it is. I mean, look at that watch. It's just stunning. So that's one of my favorite Rolexes of all time. And I think that would actually bring. I think that's the watch that really could put Rolex competing with the Royal Oak and Nautilus. And it's certainly not a sports watch, but at least, oh God, this is such a difficult thing to kind of work through. At least it brings a complication, which Rolex is obviously trying to do with the Sky Dweller. It's formal because it's in a precious metal, but it's still casual enough because it has a more bulky case, whereas the Cellini is so left field in its dress sense. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. And I know that this is kind of difficult to kind of get out because I'm trying to just figure it out. But that's kind of what I think. It's wonderful to see Rolex innovate on the dress line, but I wish they would do it in a sporty case because that would add more mass market appeal. I had to close my eyes to think of my thought fully. So that was what I was trying to say. The nigger, I read a comment. I didn't say that. I read a comment. Reads my statement and doesn't read my question. All right, well, let me find your question. Mr. Harris, where'd you get the goddamn shirt? I got the shirt from Uniqlo. I get a lot of my Oxford shirts there. Uniqlo, J. Crew, and occasionally Brooks Brothers, but not very often. But usually Uniqlo and J. Crew. Yeah. 1 hour watch. Do you do custom watch drawings? Ask them. Good question. Does the Patek have the original buckle? Yes, it does. Absolutely. Wait. And original strap, bitches. How cool is that? I mean, this is an amazing, amazing piece. I forgot to mention that. Everything head to toe, original, 1-year warranty. It's going to be hard to kind of, get past that. Why is 1675 so pricey? They just are. They're just really pricey watches now. They're super hot. They're more interesting than the Datejust. Than the Submariner. The standard subs. So standards, 1675s are skyrocketing. What's that gold watch you just showed the back of? That is the Patek, man. Beautiful, beautiful piece. All right, what else are we talking about? Come on, I'll do 2 more questions. Then I'm going to sign off and go eat. What do we got? DM me. That's what I got. This is straight up. Yeah, I'm straight up. Damn straight. Can we see the Seamaster again? Which one? The black one or the gold one? Oh, just the black one's the Seamaster. Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? stunning piece. I mean, are there spots in the Patek dial? No, there are no spots in the Patek dial. God, I'd wear the Patek to ShopRite if I owned it. Yeah, seriously. I actually wore the Patek today to a Stop and Shop. That's serious. Why no movement shots or details has put me off? Great question, and I'd love to answer it. We don't put movement shots because no one asked for them. There isn't a large enough demand for us to add the extra investment to take movement shots. That's it. It's very expensive. At least the way we found it. I don't take my photos. We have a photographer, and I pay that photographer. And to incur or accrue or whatever additional fees, which actually does come out to be a substantial amount of money at the end of the month. Mind you, we list 6 watches per week. To me, I can't justify it. Obviously, our sales aren't hurting, at least yet, because of it. So I just can't. Now, keep this in mind. I absolutely supply movement shots for anyone who asks. I did it twice this week. One for a Rolex and one for a chronograph. My pleasure. I use my phone. I use my cell phone and I do it. But I just don't. Sounds like excuses. No, it's just true. I do it all the time. But no, I'm not going to spend extra time and money on something that people don't want. I mean, at least the market has shown that people don't want it. So that's it. You can find a 1803 white gold out there? Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. I can find a white gold 1803. Absolutely. Rainbow Yachtmaster or John Suckerhorn cigarettes? I don't know who John Suckerhorn is. Sorry. Gonna buy something for you one of these days. Happy for you, man. Dude, I owe you guys all of this. It's the truth. No question. No question. I mean, I'm super grateful for all the support and the viewership. I mean, it's like disgusting. I talk to people about it all the time. Literally all the time. Every time anyone asks me, I just, have I ever been robbed? Yes, I was robbed. I was robbed with credit card fraud, and I hope that the guy who robbed me is watching this, because fuck you, man. You really messed up my shit. They stole like $20,000. Imagine that. It was Thanksgiving Day when I found out. I found out Thanksgiving Day before my family came over that I got robbed for 20 grand. I was 19 or I was 20. It was brutal. I'm getting chills thinking about it. But what are you going to do? You bounce back. What can you do? You just bounce back. You suck it up. And they get any money back. Yeah, I got a little bit back. I went to war with the credit card company, but they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. It's crazy. The rules, the laws are incredible. No, it was actually England. The laws are awful. So I'll kind of elaborate here for a second here. The law today with credit card companies authorize charges, and they are not responsible or liable for those fraudulent charges. Neither is the person whose credit card was stolen, of course, and neither is the processing company, PayPal or Stripe. Stripe was in our example. So the processing company basically told us, hey, you guys are the ones that sent out the watch. Your fucking fault. But what are you going to do? I went to war with them, but they just don't care. They have way more money, way larger attorneys than I do. So they're basically like, yo, suck it up. And I was like, fuck. But, it is what it is. It's gone. I mean, I don't think about it. I mean, I think about it right now because you asked me, but I don't dwell on the time that I got robbed. You know what I mean? Like, you just get over it, And now when I get a payment, you better bet that I call every credit card company and I check to make sure that payment is 100% okay. We get large payments. Like, we get payments $10,000 weekly. You know how much money that is to lose? Imagine this. You stand to make $180 for argument's sake, and you lose $4,000. Or you stand to make even $600 if you're so lucky, and yet you lose $5,000. It's crazy. It sucks. No, it was $20,000. No, I'm sorry. It was not 20 grand for one watch transaction. It was 20 grand for several watch transactions and several charges that were authorized by the company. I should not share that info. What do you mean I should not share that info? Of course I should. Why wouldn't I? Anyone who's watching, you should absolutely, try to steal from me. You're not gonna win. No, you shouldn't try to steal from me. I really hope you don't. I really don't hope you don't. But still, I mean, I spend so much time of my day on sales calling up credit card companies, calling up banks, making sure that I am not liable if this is a faulty credit card charge. You know, and I do that actively. Hey, TNH, what's up? Just got here. Is there going to be a liquor run tomorrow? Damn straight, man. Rolly's not going to miss a liquor run. My dad loves that series. He loves you guys so much. He loves you guys just as much as I do. It's crazy. That Black Dial Omega going to go up to the shop soon? Yes, on Tuesday. Crazy. It's going to sell immediately. I know it. I know it. TNH, what's up? Stay positive, man. No, super positive. Are you kidding me? Super positive. I will tell that story if I give a keynote. Like, you know what I mean? That's a story I'm going to say, you think you had a bad day? My fucking Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a totally awesome, kind of bombastic, you know, like, boom, kind of like moment for me. And I'm just going to say, like, so what? What's your excuse? You know, like, you had a bad day. You didn't sell a product. You couldn't sell your belts. Like, fuck you. You know, I have no patience for people's like excuses that, oh, like, you know, it's so hard to build a business. Like, nobody follows me on Instagram. Shut up. Fucking give them a reason to follow you on Instagram, asshole. Okay, and stop buying followers, people. It's awful. It's embarrassing. Everyone knows you're doing it. It's like putting a sock in your pants. Everyone knows. What do you think? It doesn't even look like a penis. It looks like a sock. Okay, it doesn't even look like one. Okay, everyone knows if you. I have people on Instagram that have 43,000 followers that purchased, you know, whatever, and buy likes. It's like, do you think I'm an idiot? It's depth over width, man. It's depth over width, and that's literally it. That's it. We have 29,000 followers on Instagram, and to me, that is one of the most concentrated and dedicated 29,000 followers ever, or in the watch business. Because there are people that have 85,000 that don't even touch us. They don't even. It's all about depth. That's it. And I think that you guys can tell how much passion I have for you guys. And I think that's why it's reciprocated back and forth. And that's why we're such a great bond. That's it. You know, you can't replicate it. You can't buy it. You know. So sorry about that. Buy followers. What a joke. Yeah, they do it all the time. They do it all the time. I think you mean girth. That's funny. Good move. What else you got coming Tuesday? Omega Seamaster Black Dial. I actually have a gorgeous Camille Fournier strap coming. This is a strap I bought for myself, but I ended up not using. So this is an amazing strap. And the only reason I didn't use it is because I got a gift of a suede strap. So I'm not going to wear both. This is a beautiful kind of like teal blue Camille Fournier strap. It looks stunning. It was very expensive, but I'm selling it for like half of what I paid. So whatever, right? All is fun. It's just better than holding on to it. There's no need to hold on to a $300 strap that I bought. There's just, you know, it's what am I gonna do with it? Just to say I have it? I'd rather get 150 for it and call it a day. You know, yeah. Camille Fournier is awesome. What are your thoughts on vintage Eternas? I don't know much about them. I'm so sorry. I really don't. I'll let you know. You know, I'll let you know. But I don't. You know, I don't know anything about them. How much for the strap? $150. You know, I paid $310, so, you know, $310 plus tax or some shit like that. So $150. 18 millimeters. I'm sorry, not 20. You know. You gay? No, I'm not gay. I'm straight, but I went to acting high school. So my dad thought I was gay for like 4 years. He's gonna yell at me for saying that. He watches the show. I'm gonna get a call from him in like 2 minutes. That's really funny. Great color, teal. Yeah, teal is a great color. You might need it one day for another watch. That's true. No, you're right. You're right. But at the moment, you know, I figure I don't know. I just figure I'll pass it along. I love the strap. I think it's beautiful. But you know, I'm not gonna go into too much detail. But I love the strap. So it's going for sale. So that's it. What size is the strap? 18 millimeters. Yeah, 18 millimeters. Yeah, everyone is focused. I get so many comments on YouTube calling me a fag Jew. You have no idea. I had no idea how anti-Semitic and homophobic the YouTube community was until I started a YouTube channel. Like, how funny is that? You know, I get messages all the time like, you're a fag Jew. I'm like, wow, that's really nasty. Why would you say that? And like, I don't like. Why are you being like? I don't understand why. First of all, why are you spending your time trying to, you know, like bully people when you're a grown man? I could see when you're in 7th grade. I get that. Like, yeah, 7th grade, everyone called someone something nasty. Like, you're a scumbag or whatever. But now, like, how old are you? Like, why are you spending your time, you know, calling people fag Jews? You know, and literally, I put this on Instagram, and everyone that's, like, gay and Jewish comments, you know, like, sends me a message, and they're like, welcome to the club. You know, and I'm just cracking up because, you know, obviously, you know, that's it. Farley said, high school never ends. It never ends. Carrot hiding behind the screen, yeah. Is Anna related to you? I have a sister named Anna, and she is related to me. Anna's not. Anna's our editor. So I have two Annas. So, Jesus was Jewish. Yes, he was. What's a good price for a vintage 1013 solid gold or perpetual Jubilean box? Send me a photo. Obviously, condition, service history, things like that matter a lot. I thought you were some kind of Asian. No, my mom's Italian. My dad's Spanish. So I am a mix. I'm one of those mixes. Why not more stuff with metal bracelets? Because I don't sell sports watches all that often. You know, I just don't. So, you know, I don't find them with they probably can't stand it. Islamophobia is getting nasty too. Oh, Islamophobia is it's getting fucking rampant. So it's sad, you know, it's sad. But, you know, some of my best friends who are, you know, Muslim, you know, they shoot me a message and they're just like, literally, we don't even listen to it. That's their experience. They also live in predominantly Muslim countries, so I don't think that they have to be exposed to people being nasty all the time. But that's it. Everyone, like, you know, I don't want to get political. This is so not the channel. I don't get political at all. But everyone fucking hates terrorists. Like, you know, like, that's it. Hopefully most people do at least. But no, to get on a whole, you know, but you wouldn't, and I'm only saying this because the shit on YouTube, like, that's it. The YouTube thing is just crazy. Like, YouTube shit is crazy. They will call anyone anything, and it's terrible. How the hell are you Jewish and Italian? How do you feel when you saw that dad peel out of the water at Greek beach and on Speedo? That was crazy. That was a great story. I was in Greece, and a guy, this, like, really, like, just pimpin' guy with, you know, like, kind of fat but just full, in a Speedo, right? And, you know, he was packing fucking heat, and he was a hooker with a girl he was obviously paying, and his computer was by his chair. And he must have been running a massive company from, like, his chair there. And it was just super cool. But he gets out of the water, like, you know, just, like, kind of just walking because he owns the world, right? And he had a Patek Nautilus chronograph. I forget, was it 5980 or something like that? And I was just like, whoa, that is so cool. Like, I want to come back and be you. I want to be Greek and you. You know, I was just like, gee, this guy's got everything. You know, this guy's got the world, you know. But it was funny. It was so stereotypical, and it was so predictable. And, you know, he had a yacht and all that. He probably had a yacht, but I don't know if he had a yacht. I made that up. But it was really, you know, really cool. Fucking Rico Suave. If you ignore my comments, I'm going to use your toothbrush. My sister's going to use my toothbrush. Thank you so much. What's your comment? Send me your comment again. Otherwise, I'm not going to see it. Hello, Christian, I'm dying. What else we got? A lot of backlash against immigrants. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's... Christian, what was your major at university? I majored in religion. I say this basically every episode. I majored in religion. Yeah. Best hair on Instagram. I said shout me out. Everybody, shout out my sister Anna right now. ANA. On Instagram, on YouTube. My sister wants some attention because she thinks that she should own all of Theo and Harris because she gave me the idea to go on YouTube. So that's it. So everyone, Anna, ANA. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to Anna. I think. It wouldn't mean as much to me as it would mean to Anna. She's hysterical. I literally wouldn't be on YouTube right now if she... I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I certainly wouldn't have been on YouTube so early. She was like, dude, like, go on YouTube. Like, it's what everyone smart does, you know? And I was like, okay, like, leave me alone, you know? And she brought it up a couple times, and I eventually did it. What's being featured on Liquor Run Mañana? I don't remember. Something delicious, though. A white wine. Really good shit. What does Longines have to offer you to quit TNH? What would Longines have? Longines would have to offer me full liberty to continue TNH, and I don't know if they would even need to offer me a salary. I don't know what they would need to do. I really don't know. I'd have to talk to them about it. I don't even. I mean, yeah, of course, I want money. You know, of course, I want money, but I don't think I would be like, "Yo, give me a ton of money." I would want. I think that at this point in my life, at 21 years old, considering I want to be an entrepreneur for the rest of my life, and considering that I want to build businesses, I think that more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 grand that Longines could give me is a big W under my belt. You know, to say I'm the one that saved Longines on social media, that would be very cool. You know, that would be more valuable to me than the 400 grand. Of course, I wouldn't pass up 400 grand, but that would be the really valuable thing. You'd be stuck wearing a Longines though. Yeah, I probably would be. No Longines in the shop in a while. Yeah, we have some amazing Longines in stock, but nothing at the moment. What about vintage Longines? What do I have to do? You my boy, vintage Longines. You my boy. No, I'm not saying 350. I'm just talking. I don't know. I'm from China. What's up, China? How you guys doing? How much for the HS 1601? $2,900, $940. But via wire or PayPal, we could always do less. You know, we have to account for fees. They're massive PayPal fees, massive. Thoughts on modern watches? These materials, 1H patina. I don't know. What, like Seracom or something like that? I like it. It's cool shit. Are you Jewish? No. What is up, Watch Fam? What is up, Watch Fam? I'm just reading these comments and just replying. Hair product. I spray my hair with water and then I use Frizzies once it curls. I literally just spray it with water and then I go like that and then I spray it with Frizzies. It's very unamusing. Christian, what vintage DJ have white gold bezel? I'm looking for that. A couple. Reference 1601 is the one that I sell most often. This is a reference 1601, and it's going in the shop on Tuesday. It's absolutely stunning. If you guys are looking to pick one up, this is definitely this is an incredible example. Not only are the lugs sharp because they are, but the dial to me is just fucking next level. I love it. But that doesn't mean that everyone loves it. It's just me. Whispering Angel was great. I drank tons of it. Yeah, man, it was great. It's got a little bit of a douchey air about it, but still. What is up, Watch Fam? That super compressor. We're running LC to pricing Longines. I fell into both. I don't know, man. I don't know. Selling fake watches can be a very profitable business. I'm sure it can be. I just don't want to participate in that kind of business at all. I don't know. It wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. You never know. I mean, I would never do it from Theo and Harris. But if there was a company that was selling fake watches, and said it was fake watches, and they were gonna make everyone a ton of fucking money, I would go on YouTube and be like, "Yo, TNH Watch Fam, let's raise $2 million and let's buy half this company." Although I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't because I fucking hate the principle behind vintage watches so much. That's maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. Sometimes you're blinded by money a little bit because you should be, but sometimes there are just certain things you just can't roll over for. I just hate I don't hate people who buy fake watches. I don't. But no, fake people sell fake watches. That's not true. I mean, people who see a need in the market sell fake watches, and it's not their business how they're gonna, as long as it's legal. No, it's not legal. Oh no, it's not legal. What the fuck? No, here I am thinking it's legal. No, fuck that. Definitely not. Get the fuck out of here. No way. I'm gonna go to jail for fucking fake watches. I hate fake watches. No way. No way. It's over. Fake watches are the worst. I hate you, fake watches. Yeah, they are the worst. Now I'm thinking about it. Fuck that. No way. How can I get dibs on a watch? Not yet on the website. You can go on your email. Shoot me an email at info@theoandharris.com, and I will respond, and I will reserve a watch for you ASAP. Seriously, we sell more watches off the website than we do on. So there's an incredible business, off the website. How much is your service center? It really, it depends on what you need done. For example, like a standard service, or for example, an overhaul on a chronograph. Let's say a Valjoux could probably cost around $500. But if it's a very complicated watch, like a I don't know, modular chronograph, that could cost up to $800. It's hard to say, but we always do give you a quote before we go ahead with anything. So yeah. Any Blue Dial Datejust coming up? Yes, actually. Shoot me an email. Would you recommend a linen dial or a champagne dial on Datejust? It totally depends on what you want and what you like. That's totally, you know. Christian, what happens in 50 years when nobody has parts to repair a red sub? Do you feel people are not thinking far into investing in these watches? That's a great question. And I think that at some point, people are going to start accepting, you know, like kind of like 3D printed parts as a reality, and they're going to be okay with it, you know. And that's going to obviously ruin the whole originality kind of variable, which is huge, but I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Is it worth? Is a watch worth sending from Australia to you guys? Yes. I mean, I definitely. I think that if you pay, you know, like a relatively like standard cost for shipping, it's definitely, yeah. If it costs you $20 to ship to us, it's definitely worth it. It's a very, very good service, and that's why it's so important. One more question, and then that's it. I'm cutting you guys off. Let's see who's got a good one. You're bringing a watch into brand new conditions. Exactly. Omega bought replica watches Basel this year. Not really. Not replica. It's a little bit dramatic. You're saving me on my 2 a.m. walk home. Rolex always make vintage parts on the back door. Let's see. An almost too dressy. Come on, guys. Hit me with a really good question. I want to answer it. Come on. What's the most modern, newest watch you ever sold on Theo and Harris? Okay, this is it. Ready? My last question. What is the newest modern watch I've ever sold on theoandharris.com? I sold an A. Lang & Zone 1815 and in pink gold at 36 millimeters. It was an amazing watch. I sold it to a gentleman in New York, Manhattan. He was a finance guy, genuinely great guy. It was one of the most amazing watches I've ever owned. It was a watch that I genuinely would love to own again, and that's it. One more question. I'm sorry. Are all your watches serviced before being sold? That's a great question, and here's basically the long answer, because it has to be long. Every watch that we sell before it goes out the door is guaranteed or checked off and approved by our watchmaker. There is no, or one of our two watchmakers. There's no question. Now, I'd say about 60 to 65% of those watches need to be fully serviced. They need to be overhauled, or they need to be, you know, whatever. They need to be serious work. That's obviously the most expensive work to be done. Maybe about 10% don't need anything. We buy them perfect. And then the other remainder need minor, you know, kind of like, you know, tinkers or whatever. But it doesn't matter. Any watch that leaves our hands is 100% guaranteed and authenticated and all that stuff, and you know, just guaranteed by us. So whether we had to do a full overhaul for $500 or we literally just got it fully serviced and perfect, it's the condition when leaving that matters most. I'm not going to dump $500 into a service of a watch that's just been serviced. Wouldn't make any sense. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching Ask TNH Live. I keep saying these things are going to get shorter, but they just haven't yet. It's still an hour. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy your weekend. Actually, have fun. Watch Liquor Run tomorrow on theoandharris.com. And that's it. All right, guys. YouTube, adios.